Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Canvas 101. My name is Kyle, but before we get started, I'm just going to pass things over to Patsy Carruthers for just a moment, who's going to talk a little bit about the Strong Start badge.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I just wanted to share a little bit of information. If you did not know, UK Online is piloting a badge. It's called the Strong Start badge this year, this academic year. And this particular workshop is one of three that you can attend to qualify for the badge. And it also involves a reflection at the end of your workshops. Everything is housed in a Canvas course, and I'll pop the link in. It's a self-enroll. I'll pop the link in here in a minute. But just how it works is you attend the three workshops of your choice. It may be that you attended one or two in the fall. It's okay to attend the other one this semester and add them together. If it's better for your planning, you can instead substitute a consultation with our IDs and/or instructional technologist as one of those three. And that is, those choices are in sort of a quiz. It's a little survey in the Canvas shell. So you'll actually get to click which ones you attended. And if you chose to have a consultation, you'll be asked just to put who you attended with and when that was. And then we asked for a reflection to talk about how you use some of the things you've learned in your course. So, and please do give us any feedback as well if you think we could add something to this experience that would make it better. So we're piloting this year, and we'll see how it works. But I encourage you to check it out, and I'll drop this here. You are also welcome to email me. I'll also drop my information here. You're also welcome to email me if you would like more information, and I will turn it back over. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Patsy. All right. So, um, my name is Kyle. I am a Canvas administrator. And I will be going through some of the features of Canvas along with Jess. And I'll pass things over briefly to Jess to introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Welts. I'm an instructional designer with UK Online. I'll be doing the template portion because that's what I know about, and I think they're really cool, so I'm excited about those. And also, just to add to what Patsy said, if you would like to schedule a consultation with an instructional designer, you can email elearning@uky.edu, and I will pop that in the chat as well. And I'll hand it back over to you, Kyle.
Awesome. So I'm going to share and we will get started. So this will be a very basic and quick introduction to Canvas. If you have questions, we have other members of our team who can keep an eye on the chat and do their best to answer questions there. But also just want to reinforce, rather than going into too much detail during this session, you can also schedule a consultation if there's a feature or something you see during this Canvas 101 introduction that you want more information about or you want to dive a little deeper. So with that out of the way, we will get started basically where you get started when you log into Canvas, and that is the dashboard. This is the first thing that folks see when they log in. At the top, if there are any, you will see announcements. And fortunately, we have an announcement displayed right now, so you can see what that looks like. And below that, by default, this is the card view. You'll see some of your courses. You may not see all of them. We'll talk about that shortly. But these are your courses, your published courses and unpublished courses. And these cards you can actually drag around if you want to change the order that they're displayed. And you may notice in these cards some icons at the bottom. Um, these icons represent the four main features within a course shell: assignments, announcements, discussions, and files. If there is something new, there will be a notification along with these icons. The sidebar for you and for your students, there will be a to-do list and calendar. So for me, I have nothing coming up, but if there were assignments due or things coming up, they'll show up to the right of the dashboard. So navigating around Canvas, on the left-hand side of the page is the global navigation. So this is something that is always visible and gives you access. You obviously won't see the admin button, but you will be able to quickly get to various areas within Canvas, such as the account. One thing I'll touch on here for the account, well, a couple things, some accessibility settings. These may be worthwhile for people to find fairly quickly. Also, notifications. You can customize your notifications. You can determine the frequency with which you get notified, types of things you get notified about. So you can go in and check your notifications and make sure that they are set appropriately. In settings, you'll want to check the email addresses. So I have my standard link blue at uky.edu, which is set as my default. I've added my other email address here. You'll notice that it's blue, underlined like a hyperlink. What that means is it has not yet been confirmed. And I want to point this out because this is something we get emails about, particularly related to notifications, where people say they're not getting notifications. Your email address has to be confirmed. Otherwise, you will not get notifications. So if you see this in blue and it's like a hyperlink, make sure you click on that, check your email. There will be a link for you to confirm your email address. So just make sure that you do that. And that's under account, settings, and then look under email addresses. In the tab, we'll take a look at courses. When you open that up, you will see some of your courses, again, like your dashboard. You're not necessarily going to see all of your courses here. That is another common request we receive, is people who either in their dashboard or here, they don't see all of their courses. Make sure you click on that all courses link at the top. You will get all of the courses that you are associated with by clicking on all courses. So if you're having trouble finding it, just go to courses and all courses. Calendar, this calendar is only related to your Canvas course. This is not linked to your Outlook calendar. This is strictly related to Canvas. You can enable or disable views for the different courses to show the items, whether assignments or discussions, anything with a date associated in your course. Now you can add this calendar to your Outlook calendar. That's this calendar feed button. It's a little too much to go into right now, but if you know how to add a calendar feed to Outlook, this is where you can get that address that you need. The inbox, so continuing with the global navigation on the left, similar to the calendar, this is not your email inbox. It is not related to your Outlook email. It may be linked in the sense that if you have notifications set, um, messages sent to your inbox um, in Canvas can go to your Outlook inbox. But this is something that is separate from your Outlook inbox. Make sure to just, especially if there are notifications showing here that you're checking your Canvas inbox regularly. Uh, Also want to touch on the help. There are a lot of options in here. This is something worth knowing for you and for your students. Your students will have this ask your instructor a question. This is a great way for them to reach out to you. If they are having an issue with Canvas itself, so um, ask your instructor a question is really about questions related to the course content. But if you or your students are having sort of technical issues with Canvas, there is a chat with Canvas support link available right here in the help. This is 24/7 chat support with Canvas support. They can handle Canvas specific issues and help people out with those. They are not, Canvas support are not University of Kentucky employees, so they don't have access to help people with things like enrollments or other things like that. But if those types of issues come up, the Canvas support will escalate those types of issues or direct people to the right folks at UK to help. Also, just let your students know about the well-being section as well. Get help. If you do have a student who is in crisis of some sort, this is a great place to find resources. So just make sure your students are aware of this well-being choice within Canvas in the global navigation. Next, we're going to jump over to a course and navigating within a course. The left, when you choose a course, so I just chose this Canvas 101, there's a new menu that shows up on the left. This menu is customizable and will look different for every course. So we've got a home. There are some things that will always be there. So home, this Ignite AI search, which is a great course search feature if you or your students are looking for something within the course. This is a great way to find it. There are items in here that you'll see have this little eyeball with a line through it. What that means is it is not visible to students. So you are able to see these things, but your students won't be able to. In the case of announcements here, for example, it is not visible because there are no announcements. So once an announcement is available to your students in that course, they would see the announcements menu. You as the instructor, you have a lot of settings that you can change in the course. So once you're in the course, in that course menu, if you go down to settings, there are quite a few things you can change. Most things, especially if you're new to Canvas, you probably don't want to change. But as I mentioned, the course menu on the left is customizable, and that is under the navigation tab here in the course settings. So if I want my announcements to actually be further up in this menu on the left, I can actually just click and drag that up to the top and move other things around based on how I feel they fit priority wise. Once you do that, if you make any changes here in the navigation, again, this is one of the most common things that we get contacted about. Make sure that you scroll to the very bottom and hit that save button. So once I hit save, you'll see now that announcements has moved up to the top of my course menu. You can, if you are working on a smaller screen and you want more real estate on the screen to view the course content, you can hide the course menu by clicking on, this is called a hamburger icon, this 3 horizontal lines up here. I just click on that, it'll hide that course menu and give me more screen real estate for the course content. If I need to see that menu again, I just click on that hamburger icon again. On the right side of the screen is a sidebar. The sidebar is contextual. So what that means is depending on the page that you are on, that sidebar content will change. So you'll see different options on the sidebars. That's the right side of the screen. So that is, those are the basics around navigating Canvas and your course or courses. And next we'll move on to actually creating some content and assessments within Canvas. So in your course, the most basic way to create content is to find the Pages menu item. And here we have a list of our pages, but I can click this plus page to create a brand new page in the course. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a title. This big text area here is what is referred to as the rich content editor. The rich content editor can be found throughout Canvas. You will see it again and again as we go through this. It has very basic formatting options that you should be familiar with: bold, italic, underline. You can choose heading levels and standard paragraph formats. You can highlight, change text color, but other things you can do in here include adding hyperlinks. So if you want to link to an external site, you can upload images, include other media, you can record media. There are a lot of things that you can do with this rich content editor. Rather than go into a lot of detail here, I just would recommend that you just explore it a little on your own and see what types of editing options that you have. So this is just some basic content for this page. As we scroll down, you'll see that there are multiple options related to creating this page. So users who are allowed to edit this page, you can say only teachers or teachers and students. So if it was a page that you wanted more, say, think of it as a wiki where anyone can go in and edit the content. You may want to create a page that your students can actually collaborate in. You also have publish at, so if it's something that you do not want available right away, you can actually choose a date in the future that you want this page to go live. So until that date, the students won't be able to see the page. You'll have access to it, but it won't be published to your students until a later date. You can also assign it to specific students. You may, in some of your courses, have multiple sections or groups of students. So if you've broken students into groups, you may only want this page to be visible to a specific group. So you can do those types of advanced choices here under Assign Access. So I'm just going to hit Save on this page. And it'll jump to that page that we created. We can go back to view all pages. So you'll see here on the list of pages, some have this green check mark. This one has a no symbol. This one has the calendar symbol. So this is the one we just created. When I hover over that, you can see that it will publish automatically on January 9th. Green means that the page is published. So that is something that is available to your students now. And the no symbol means that it is not scheduled to be published. So you would have to actually click on this to manually publish that. Similarly, if I don't want that published to the students, I can click on the green check and it will unpublish that. The next feature that is commonly used in courses are discussions, but jump over to discussions. In this course, we have a couple of discussions that are already there, but we're going to go ahead and create a new discussion. Just going to click on Add Discussion. So let's say you've got an introduce yourself. You can, again, this is that rich content editor that I mentioned earlier. I said that you would see it repeatedly. So here again in discussions, this area is where you can give more detailed instructions about what the students are supposed to do, how they're supposed to contribute to the discussion. Scrolling down, we see a lot of options here. So you can make this an anonymous discussion. Threaded replies is the default. So rather than just one long list of all of the posts that students have made to the discussion, if a student replies to another student, it'll appear under that in context. You have the choice to say that participants must respond to the topic before reviewing other replies. So lots of choices that you can make here. You can make it a graded discussion as well. So if it's something that you want students to participate in and count that towards a grade, you can choose the graded option. You can determine whether students are allowed to like messages or not. And you can actually say only graders can like. So if there are multiple people in the course, multiple instructors, TAs, you can say that only they are allowed to like responses, or you can just say don't allow liking at all. With graded selected, you see some additional options here around points possible and the assignment group that this should be associated with. So for now, I'm going to say not graded. And again, this assign access. So you can say which groups or which students this particular discussion should be assigned to, when it's available. So yeah, this is creating a new discussion. We'll hit save. Okay, so we now see this introduce yourself discussion. Jump back here. The students won't see it. Again, you'll see this icon showing that it is not published. So you can actually do the work on getting the discussion ready, and save your progress on it, come back to it, continue working on it. And then when you're ready, you can publish that so that your students will be able to see that discussion. Next, we'll jump over to assignments. So we have here what are referred to as discussion groups. So we have a quizzes group, an assignments group, okay, and we can actually collapse or expand these. And within these are the actual assignments. I will create a new group. Let's say I want a group that's called essays. And let's say that I also want to weight these assignment groups. So maybe my assignments are worth 40, quizzes are 30, and assignments are 30 for a total of 100%. So this is a way, if you've defined in your syllabus what various things are going to be worth towards the final grade, you can do that assignment groups weight and let Canvas do that calculation for you. With the group set up, I'm just going to go ahead and create an assignment. And we'll call this week 3 essay. Once again, we see the rich content editor. So this is where you would include detailed instructions about how your students are to complete this assignment. You assign the number of points for this assignment and the assignment group. So I created this group called essays, and because this is an essay assignment, I'm going to put that there. You do have the option to say, do not count this assignment towards the final grade. So if it was, say, create a draft for your essay, you may not want that counted towards the final, but you do have that option depending on the scenario. The submission tool, there are a few options here. On paper, if you actually were running a face-to-face course and you wanted to collect things by paper and manually grade them, you can do that. Most common choice for Canvas courses would be online. And here you could say text entry. Text entry means the students will see this rich content editor and they can type in their submission. There is an option for media recordings as well. So if you wanted them to record a short video of themselves and submit that. File uploads is a common one if you wanted them to upload a Word document or a PDF. And you can restrict the upload file types. So again, if we wanted to restrict that to strictly Word documents and PDFs, you can put that in there to only allow those file types to be uploaded. You can allow multiple attempts. If I choose limited, you want them to have a couple of attempts at this. Something here, I'll touch on the plagiarism review very quickly, not going to go into too much detail, but want to just stress something that comes up commonly around, especially if you're doing students submitting a draft. If they are submitting a draft and then submitting their final copy, for the draft, make sure you're saying do not store the submitted papers. If they're submitting a draft and it gets stored and then they submit their final version later on, the plagiarism detection is going to be really high. It's going to give them a really high score, similarity score. So if you are having them work on a draft, make sure you choose, and you do want plagiarism review, make sure you're saying do not store the submitted papers. You can define, if you have groups set up, you can set this up as a group assignment. Even in a group assignment, you can assign grades to students individually. Again, this assign access, you can assign assignments to specific groups, specific students. So if you have one student who perhaps needs some accommodations, and they need an assignment that is a little bit different from everyone else, you can actually create an assignment and assign it to a specific student. I'll go ahead and hit save this assignment. And here, after we've saved it, we have an option to create a rubric for this. So call this our essay rubric. We'll leave it as a scale and scored. And for this rubric, we need to add criteria. So we can put in grammar. If you want, you can have rating descriptions of your expectations for each of those levels. You should have descriptions for each of those levels. Just going to go ahead and hit save criterion. And we'll add a new one and we'll say this is content. Again, you'll want to describe the expectations for your students. Let's say that, let's put this up to 20. When I change this to 20, you'll see that it automatically adjusted the scores here, but you can manually adjust those scores as necessary. I'll save that. Okay. We can create the rubric. You can always go back and edit this rubric, but rubrics are a great way to make sure that your students understand the expectations for the assignment. All right. The next type of assessment we will look at is quizzes. So in here, we do have a few quizzes created, but we're going to go ahead and create a new quiz. And you will probably see this choice unless you've been in here before and checked off this remember my choice for this course between new quizzes and classic quizzes. I guess the best way to describe this choice, new quizzes is obviously the newer of the two and is the one that receives the most updates. So new features, new question types, those will go into new quizzes. So if you want to take advantage of new features, new question types, you'll want to choose new quizzes. Classic quizzes, if you basically want consistency, you never want the choices to change, you have that option to go into classic quizzes. But for this, I'm just going to go ahead and choose new quizzes. And we will call this the syllabus quiz. I think there's already one there. Name that, so we'll say this is number 2. Same type of option, whether it's a graded quiz or ungraded survey or a graded survey. So you have the choice to also just have a survey if you want to collect some student opinions on a topic that can lead into a deeper discussion. But we'll go ahead with a graded quiz. The assignment group, so quiz is a type of assignment. So it'll choose where you want this to go. Since we have an assignment group called quizzes, we'll put it there. That same option, do not count this assignment towards the final grade. So if you want a practice quiz, and again, the assign to options. So here I can save it, but I'm gonna go ahead and build. So building the quiz is actually adding the questions to the quiz. And from this screen, there's a little plus icon here. That is how we add more questions to the quiz. So when I click on that, it's now showing me the option, different types of questions that I can add to this quiz. So we have our standard multiple choice. Obviously, for a graded quiz, asking an opinion question may not be the the best option, but even for the questions within a quiz, you'll see once again the rich content editor. Sometimes you may need more information, more detail, maybe media, such as a picture that you want to be part of the question that you're asking the students about. So the rich content editor allows you to create those very rich questions. So down here we have our possible answers. And if I only want 3 options, I can delete one of those choices. And I'll put in some choices here. And on the left, you'll see a radio button where I can actually define which is the correct answer. And of course, blue is the correct answer. So some other options here, can shuffle choices if we don't want them to appear in the same order every time for every student, and how many points we want associated with this question. Some other options here that are a little too much for us to go into today. Just going to go ahead and click on done. So now we have this question added to our quiz. I won't go into that much detail with all of these. I just encourage you to explore the different options that are here, but you should recognize some of the standard ones. So file upload, if you actually wanted them to upload a PDF or Word document or an Excel sheet or whatever. Multiple answer, so multiple answer versus multiple choice is if you're asking a question to which there can be multiple correct answers. A numeric response, so you want to make sure that whatever their answer is limited to just a numeric answer. True, false. Ordering, so ordering is you're basically creating choices similar to a multiple choice or a multiple answer, but you're defining an order that is the correct order for those things to be in. So I just encourage you to try building a quiz and explore these different question types. You can just keep adding more and more questions to your quiz. Okay. And as I mentioned, quizzes are a type of assignment. So if I jump back to assignments, you'll see this syllabus quiz too, the one that I just created. Also, you'll see that it is not published. So that icon you'll see repeatedly throughout. So the green check means that that item is published. It's available to your students. The no symbol means it is not yet published. Okay. So those are the basics of creating course content. Those are the most common features that people look for, instructors look for when setting up a course. So now we're going to look at developing your course flow. So right now, by creating pages, assignments, and quizzes, it's great that content is there, but there's really no structure to it. So that is where modules come in. So in modules, modules help you control the structure and flow of a course and its content. So what we'll do here is we're going to create, we have a few modules here. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new module, and we're going to call it week 2 because we already have a week 1 module. I have an option to lock this until a specific date. So if it's week 2, I can basically lock it until, let's say, January 18th. I can choose a time. I can also here include a prerequisite. So if you're building a course that is going week by week and you have another module that has requirements in it. So if there's a quiz associated with week one and you want to make sure that they've completed that task before they move on to week two, you can actually define week one as a prerequisite for week two. So here we have week two that is empty, no content in that right now. So now we want to add things to the module that we've created. I click the little plus sign. So in week two, there's a little plus sign here. And I choose the type of thing that I want to add to the module. So let's say that I want to add a page and I'm going to put in this Canvas 101 introduction page, okay, which doesn't get published until the 9th. I can add a quiz. So let's add this syllabus quiz 2. I can add an external URL. So I'm just going to put in Google search page. We have the option to load it in a new tab. And you'll see that I can publish the items in the module, but the module itself also has an option to publish. So I can publish the module only, or I can publish the module and all of the items. So if I had something within the module that was not published, it's because I have something that's set with a calendar. But you have that option to publish the module or publish the module and all of the items in it. For modules, you can also reorder them. So you can click and drag the modules. So if you're maybe building out week 6 before you build out week 4, you can go ahead and do that and then reorder them later, depending on your needs. So that is a very quick rundown of the basics of creating content and organizing it, creating assignments, quizzes, things like that. And now I'll hand things over to Jessica for the next part.
Thanks, Kyle. Before I get started on my part, there was a question about how to access new quizzes. So to turn on new quizzes, I will share my screen real quick and I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty easy. You'll go to your settings and then to your feature options. So there's a whole list of things that you can turn on and turn off in feature options. So again, I went to settings and then feature options up here. And so you'll just scroll down to new quizzes. And if you don't have it turned on, you will click enable. And now new quizzes is on. So whenever I go to create a new quiz, it will ask me what kind of quiz I want to create. And so you can use classic quizzes or new quizzes. And it's just a radio button or like one of those little circle buttons. And so you just pick which one it is that you wanted. So that's how you do that. And so now I'm going to switch over to the syllabus. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. There are different ways to set up a syllabus. Whenever you have a blank page, it'll look something like this. If you have our template, it will look something like this. How you set up your syllabus is up to you, but there are a couple of things that I recommend instructors do. The first is building out a syllabus that can be static, so you don't have to change it every semester, but it includes things like your grading policies, which probably don't change a lot from one semester to the next when you teach a course. Things like how you give feedback and how often probably won't change that much from one semester to another. once you have your course set up the way you want it. I mean, if it's a new course, you might have some wiggle room there, but oftentimes things that don't change, you want to put in this actual page. And then your syllabus that does change, like, when assignments are due, which assignments are due, those things would be in your syllabus that students could download. And then also, I wanted to point out that every assignment in your course will be listed in the course summary with the due date and how much it's worth. So that doesn't need to be populated by you in the syllabus section up here at the top. And editing the syllabus is the same as everything else. You've heard Rich Content Editor a lot. It is the exact same for editing your syllabus. So you'll click Update Syllabus. And for some reason, my internet is being very slow today. Sorry. But you'll have this little editor that will open up. If you have the course template put in, a lot of this will be populated for you. And then you can just edit your text how you see fit. A lot of instructors just copy and paste the most important parts or the parts that students access frequently into this part, and then they'll put a link to download the full syllabus. Some instructors build out their entire syllabus here. Some instructors offer a printable version and some don't. I do recommend offering a printable version just for accessibility and universal design. A lot of students like to print out that paper copy and it helps them. And you probably already have it, so it's not a huge thing to put in there. But that's, again, up to you how you design your syllabus, and your instructional designers can help you with that. So now I want to take a look at our template, if it'll load. So we have a 16-week template, and this is something that you can access on your own, and you can download it on your own if you want, or you can reach out to one of our instructional designers and we'll walk you through the process. I am going to also send some of this information to you in the chat so that you have it. So all of the links that I'm talking about are in the chat right now. You can just copy that whole thing and paste it into wherever you want to find it later. So this course is the UK Online Canvas template. At the very top, if you like this template, it has a download link so you can download that package. And then there's instructions for how to upload it into your course. So likely you'll start with a blank course and then upload the template into your course. The course has some kind of template text, and then you'll upload your own text to this template to make it your own. It has a getting started page. It has some links to the syllabus. And one thing I really like about it is it has your modules set up for you. A lot of people have a lot of trouble figuring out exactly what modules are and what they do. And so if you're not super familiar with modules, a template's a great place to start to help you figure out what modules actually do. I like to think of them as kind of just like a container to hold stuff. And so you have different containers for specific things. And so Kyle talked a lot about this, so I won't go into it too much. But one of the most difficult parts of building a course is figuring out that module structure, and a template does that for you. So if you feel like that's something you're struggling with, I do really recommend using a template because it's already built out for you. And so you'll just click the page and it's already built for you, and you put in your information and customize it to your course. And so the other thing that a template provides is a consistent look and feel. So every page will have kind of like a blue header. It will have some of these icons and different sections that your students can go through. And one of the benefits of that is students will know what to expect whenever they open a page. They'll automatically know where to find things. Whereas if you build different pages every single week, one, that's a lot of work for you. And two, it changes every week. So it'll make it more difficult for your students to figure out the layout of your course. So again, these are already set up, all of these modules, but if this template isn't exactly what you need, your instructional designer can work with you to build a customized template that fits your course content. So if it doesn't fit for you, that's okay. We can help you build a template that does fit for you. Okay. I also wanted to point out some of the resources that we have that can help with building out courses. So we have this page that has Canvas resources. So it has some getting started things that you can work on. It has a quick start checklist to make sure you have all of the essentials for your course. So before day one of spring semester, I would recommend actually looking at that checklist. Do you have all your stuff published? You may think you do, but there's different levels of publication. And so sometimes I'll get emails from instructors, my students can't access this. And it'll turn out that they've had the page published, but not the module. And so their students can't access a published page. So going through this checklist will help you make sure all of those little boxes are checked off so that whenever the term does start, you are ready to go. And we also have a Ready Set Launch workshop, which I recommend. But it is basically a walkthrough of this checklist and some other information that will help start your term off to a good start. There's Canvas tutorials and guides. I did post a specific guide, and that is going to lead us into Ally. Ally is our accessibility checker. And so I'll use my course here. This is just a course I play in, so there'll be some accessibility issues. We have a accessibility checker called Ally, and I do want to preface this with saying just because Ally says you have a green slate and you're ready to go, that doesn't mean there aren't any accessibility issues. Ally is really good at checking for certain things and not other things. But it's a great place to start for seeing if there are any issues that you can fix pretty quickly. So to get to Ally, you're going to go to your settings and then to navigation. If you've never used Ally before, you'll need to turn it on. So under navigation, we have these items are the items that are in your navigation menu, and then these items are not. So if you've never used Ally before, you'll have to find it. And you would think it would be in alphabetical order, but it's not. And I always have trouble finding it. Mine's at the bottom. So we'll click enable. And so that'll move that up to the top, but we also have to click save or it won't stay. So once we click save, we can run this report. And I actually think it's really cool and user-friendly. So now that it's on, I'm going to turn it, I'm going to click it, and then it'll run a report for me. And it usually doesn't take very long. My internet is just being very, very slow today. It will be there eventually, I promise. Okay, so now I have this dashboard. It looks like this course is doing pretty good, but there are a few issues. So here is the overall accessibility score. So this is based on the things that Ally can check. So it can check things like, do you have alt text? It can't really tell you whether or not the alt text is good alt text, but it can tell you if you have it. Alt text is descriptive text that is assigned to an image so that a screen reader can read it. If you have it, it will basically say that it's good. If you don't, it will ding it and it will tell you over here. That's usually what's going to be in your, I call this the low-hanging fruit basket. These are items that are easy to fix. So that's where I start. I'm just going to click start. And then it tells me that I have 2 images that don't have alt text. So I'll click on one. Sometimes Ally can generate text for you. I have found that it's not very good with GIFs or GIFs. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but with the static images, it's usually pretty good. But this one has animation to it, so it's not very good, and it probably won't give me a great descriptive text. So it doesn't actually tell students what this is. So I would just not use that text. But if you do find that the auto-generated text is good, then just keep it. I would probably mark this as a decorative image because it's only used in one place in my course, and it's not essential to understanding the course content. So if you have images in your course that are purely decorative, you don't have to put alt text in there. You just indicate that it's a decorative image, and then a screen reader will just pass over it. And so the only place that I use this image in my course is the little course tile. and that course tile already has the course title. So there's no reason to make a screen reader read UK Online 2 times. So in this case, I would just mark that image as a decorative image. And so I'll click that, and then that will update my ally score, and it will take it eventually off of the ally report. And so I will do that for all of my images because it's such a quick and easy fix. And it also gives you the nice little 100% and tells you you're perfect. So dopamine hit. And so now that one's gone. The other thing I like about this is it shows me the image, and so I can already tell that this is an image that's not really important to my class. So instead of me going in and fixing the alt text issue, I would just delete this image from my course. And that is one of the quickest and easiest ways to boost your accessibility score and to make your course more user-friendly and accessible. A lot of times what I'm seeing with these ally reports is the lower scores will be due to content that you don't use anymore, especially if a course has been copied over from semester to semester. They will have all of this content that you're not using, that's outdated, that is just taking up space and cluttering your course. And then it's also making it more difficult for you to achieve the accessibility scores you're looking for. So I would just go through, and if I find that I don't need a file or an image and it's causing an accessibility issue, I would just delete it. And so I know pretty much where this is going to be. It's an image, so I can find that pretty quickly in my files. So I would go to files and delete it. And it's pretty easy to delete things from your course. I know this is going to be in course images because that's where all my images are. And I can see here, this little meter is the ally meter. And so it tells me that this one is the one that's causing an issue. I don't need this in my course, so I'll just delete that. And then I can go back to my accessibility report and see if there are any other issues. So it looks like there's one final thing that I can fix, and that is my heading structures. I do like to talk about heading structure because I don't think that Ally has figured out quite how to help people with this yet. And so, but it's an important aspect of a screen reader. So heading tags in text tell the screen reader where to read and where not to read. So if I, as a sighted reader, were going to scan this, I can see Johnny C is big, so that's probably the most important thing, and I can scan this. If I am relying on a screen reader relies on header tags to know how to scan a document. And so if there are none, it makes it difficult for the screen reader to scan text for a user. And so they end up having to listen to the entire body of text to get the information. Whereas if it has the proper heading tags, then I can tell the screen reader, read me the heading level 2 tags. And so it will only read those parts that are in bold. But you have to format that correctly so that the screen reader can do that. So I know that there's an issue here. Unfortunately, Ally doesn't really help me with this. And so I'm going to have to go in and figure out what the problem is. So I know that that was an announcement. So I'll go to my announcements and I'll go to the one that has the issue. So it's this one right here, the student shout out. And this is just an announcement so that it might not be that important, but this same concept applies to any content that you're going to have built out in your Canvas course. So I know that this was bolded, but I'm going to go in and look at it and see if maybe it needs a header. So I'm going to edit. And so here I can see, I'm going to highlight this text and it will tell me right here what type of heading tag it has. So this is just reading as regular paragraph text. I need to change this. So by default, the titles in Canvas are H1. So that's like the top level. So your first line of headers is going to be the H2. So I'm going to change that to an H2. So now a screen reader will see this as kind of like a title or a section. And so it will be able to scan that more easily. And then I'll just save that. On announcements, it'll ask me if I want to email students. I don't because I didn't change the content. So I'm not going to, send out an announcement for that. But so that is essentially how you use Ally. There are different things that it can look for, but that's that in a nutshell. And again, I would recommend reaching out to an instructional designer. They can help you go through your whole Ally report. And you can also check your Ally report as you're designing. So once you get a page built out, just go ahead and run that Ally report. And then you can see if there are any issues on that page in real time. And so you're not having to go through an entire course. But if you do have to go through an entire course, it's not that big of a deal and we have lots of help. So email e-learning and we can help you out with that. And we can also answer any questions. I know we're over time a little bit, but if you have a question, we'll stick around for a few minutes and answer those.
Also, but if you want, within your course, um, the super secret trick is if you have created a page and somehow accidentally deleted it, or you've deleted some other content in your course, go to your course homepage, and in the URL, so the address at the very top of the page, at the end of that number, I'm going to put this in chat, add/undelete. This is a super secret trick for Canvas. So if you've accidentally deleted something in your course, go to your course homepage and add that /undelete. And you should see a list of the things that have been deleted from the course. So with that, I want to thank everyone for sticking around. Thank you for your time today. And look forward to helping people out, providing additional assistance. And I hope that you have a great term. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.